Hello everyone, my name is Chaotic, and in today's Grand Theft Auto 5 video, welcome back to episode 3 of the best cars to customize in Grand Theft Auto 5 Online. As per usual, these are vehicles which can be found around the map for free, and aren't massively popular, but are surprisingly good when customized. Now just before we do get into things, I want to declare that I did carry out all the customizations in story mode, and the main reason behind that is because I have a lack of funds in my online account, but you can of course carry out all these customizations online. Now when it comes to customizing, I will not be changing any of the standard upgrades, items such as the engine upgrades, the turbo, and features like that. Instead, I'll be focusing on the upgrades which are unique to these vehicles and change the way in which they look. And just before I forget, if you want to check out episode 1 and 2 of the Best Cars to Customize series, you can of course do so once this video ends. There will be links in the description to both of those. Well, with that being said, and without any further hesitation, let's get straight into this video. So let's begin with the Gibraltar A Baller. Now I know for a fact this vehicle isn't very popular in the GTA 5 community, but it does have a surprising number of customizations available for it, which do turn this into a pretty cool looking SUV. So let's begin with the bumper upgrades, and for this vehicle there are two front bumpers available, these being Custom Front Bumper 1 and Custom Front Bumper 2. Now out of these two, I prefer the first bumper because it's slightly bigger and it has an additional grille, and I feel it fits the style of this vehicle. Going around the back to the rear bumper, there is only one bumper available, this being the custom rear bumper, and this basically makes the vehicle look bigger and bulkier, so I went ahead and fitted it. Moving on to exhaust, there is only one option available, this being the custom exhaust, but it replaces the single exhaust to twin exhaust on either side of the vehicle. I went ahead and fitted that also. Now moving on to respraying this vehicle, now I guess which colour you choose all depends on what look you're trying to go for, and for this vehicle I want to go for an all black look, so metallic black is ideal. Moving on to the next customization, this one being skirts, there is only one option, that one being custom skirts, but again, it makes this car look bigger and bulkier, so I went ahead and fitted that as well. Now moving on to the wheels option, now finding a set of rims which match an SUV can be difficult at times, but I think a nice set of Lost Speed Baller rims on this vehicle looks pretty good, and I of course went ahead and changed the wheel colour to black to match the all black look in which I'm trying to go for. And moving on to the final customization, just to finish things off, that of course being window color, and I went ahead and changed the window tint to limo. Well, there we go, that is the Gibraltar A Baller now customized. In my opinion, it is a pretty good looking car, especially when customized. It is rather stylish as well as being badass. It is the ideal car to drive around at night, especially if you have the same color scheme that I have, the all black look. Anyway, let's move on to the next vehicle, this being the Fusilade. Now at first, this car isn't very impressive in terms of its looks, but when customized, it is a real head turner. Now as I'm sure you guys know, as for finding one of these, it is very easy, as they spawn in just about anywhere around the map. Now as for customizing this car, let's begin with its bumper option. There is only one available, but it is a very cool looking bumper at that. The custom front splitter is definitely worth fitting. Now as for its exhaust, I myself actually like the standard stock exhaust. Basically you get two rectangular exhausts, whereas the optional exhausts are all round. So I kept the stock exhaust in this case. Moving on to hood, now you have the option of fitting a carbon hood or a double vented hood. I myself am not really a big fan of the carbon hood, but besides, the double vented hood looks a lot more impressive. Now when it comes to respraying this car, as per usual, which colour you choose all comes down to your personal preferences. I myself think this car looks great in a metallic Formula Red, which is why I chose it, but it also looks great in a bright yellow, a bright orange, bright blue, lime green, and a few other colours as well. Now I don't say this about many cars, but I also think this car looks quite nice in chrome. Anyway, moving on to the next customization option, this one being skirts. Again, there is only one option available for it, but it certainly improves the way in which this one looks, so I went ahead and fitted it. Now when it comes to spoilers, there are a few different ones available. In fairness, the high level spoiler does look decent, but I went ahead and fitted the GT wing because it looks better. Now because this car is looking fairly sporty, I wanted to fit a set of sport rims, so I went ahead and chose the Split 6, and I chose the colour black for its wheel colour to match the carbon fibre GT wing on the back. And just to finish things off, I set the window tints to limo to match the black rims. Well, there we go guys, that is the Fusilade when customized. In my opinion, it is a pretty cool looking car, but as I'm sure you guys would agree, this car looks fairly sporty. Now unfortunately, the Fusilade isn't a very popular car, but I myself would prefer to drive this around the map in a public session over the fan favourite Zentorno. Anyway, moving on to the next car, this of course being the Prairie, which as I'm sure you guys know, is not popular in any way, shape or form. I guess when you first look at this car, it doesn't look very attractive whatsoever, and the fact that it's front wheel drive will turn many people away. But there are a surprising number of customizations available for this car, which certainly change the way in which this looks. So first of all, let's go ahead and customize the bumper. Now there is only one front bumper customization available, this being the splitter with canards, but it already improves the way this car looks and makes it look a lot more sporty. Again, for the rear bumper, there is only one option available, this being the carbon diffuser with tow hook. As for the exhaust, there is only one option available, which I went ahead and fitted. Moving on to hoods, there is the option to fit a carbon hood, but as mentioned previously, I'm not really a big fan of the carbon hoods, so I went ahead and kept the stock hood. Now when it comes to respraying this car, it looks nice in a range of different colours, one of those colours being ultra blue, which is a colour which I wouldn't usually choose, but when it comes to this car, I guess you could say it suits its style. So I went ahead and I selected ultra blue. Moving on to the next customization option, this one being skirts. Again, there's only one option for this, which I went ahead and selected. Moving on to spoiler, now you've got the option of fitting a low level spoiler or a carbon spoiler, which as you can see I selected. I think again it makes this car look slightly more sporty. Now for this car, when it comes to changing the wheels, there are a few different sport wheels which match the style of this vehicle. I went ahead and selected the Dash VIP and I made the wheel color black to match the black window tint, which I will fit shortly. Well, there we go guys, that is the Prairie when customized. It certainly looks a lot better than its standard version, and it now looks like it has some form of sporting pedigree. I would say the only thing that lets this car down is the fact that it's front wheel drive. If there was the option of changing that to rear wheel drive, it would make this car even better again. I'm sure most of you guys are familiar with the next car, this being the Benefactor Schwarzer, this of course being very popular in the drifting community, and as I'm sure you guys know, this car looks very cool when customized. So let's get straight into things and begin customizing this car, starting off with the bumper options. As you can see, there are a few different ones available. In fairness, the Euro bumper is a nice addition, but I selected the custom splitter and intercooler for the meanest look. And going around to the back of the car, there is the option of fitting a carbon rear diffuser, which I went ahead and fitted. As for the exhaust, there are a few different options available, but this time I selected the dual titanium exhaust to get those blue rings around the exhausts. You've also got the option of fitting a big badge grille at the front, but in my opinion, the plain stock grille looks a lot better. And of course, you've also got the option of fitting a carbon hood, but as I've said a number of times, I'm not really a big fan of the carbon hoods, so I stayed with the stock hood. Now, most importantly, when respraying this car, I think it's important to have a bright colour to try and make this car stand out, which is why I went for a metallic orange. But then again, I guess the paint colour which you choose comes down to your personal preferences. I think this car looks great in orange, which is why I chose it. Moving on, you've also got the option of fitting a roll cage to this car, and when you do so, it also fits black studs around the fenders of this car, which I think looks pretty cool. Now, because this car doesn't have the option of selecting a secondary paint colour, I selected the carbon roof to make it look as if this car does have the option of a secondary paint colour. Moving on to skirts, there are two to choose from, one which has a carbon lip on the bottom and one which doesn't. I selected the one with the carbon lip because it matches the carbon spoiler as well as the carbon roof. The next customization option is wheels. Now, although this car is not a high-end supercar, there's a set of really nice wheels in that option, those being the Carbonic Z wheels, which I went ahead and selected for this car, and of course I selected black for its wheel colour. And finally, to match the orange and black colour scheme, I selected the limo window tint. Well, there we go guys, that is the Benefactor Schwarzer when customized. It is a very cool and stylish car when it is customized. Of course, it looks 10 times better than the standard version, and this one is definitely one which I would recommend you guys getting if you haven't got this already. But finally, moving on to the fifth and final vehicle being showcased in this video, this is the Karin Intruder, which also has the ability to drift very well, and it also has a large number of customizations available for it. So let's get straight into things. As per usual, starting off with the bumper customization, unfortunately there is only one option available both for the front and the rear bumper, but when selecting these, it makes this car look lower down to the ground, so I went ahead and selected those as well. You've also got the option of fitting a chrome tip exhaust, which I of course went ahead and did. As for changing the paint colour on this car, once again just like most other cars, it looks nice in a range of different colours, but this time I selected a race yellow to make this car stand out and look more noticeable. Next, there is the option of fitting a skirt. Unfortunately there is only one option available, but it makes this car look lower down to the ground. You can also fit a spoiler to this, but again, there's only one to choose from. As for its wheels, I went ahead and selected the Carbonic Z wheels from the high-end category, and obviously I made the wheel color black. And finally, just to finish things off, I selected Limo as the window tint. Now, an option which I wouldn't usually select is lower suspension, but this time I went ahead and chose the lowest suspension available, just to go ahead and put it down as low as possible. Well, there we go guys, that is it for the customization of the Karin Intruder. Once again, I'm sure you guys will be impressed by this transformation. It is certainly a much better looking car now than its standard version. And with that being said, that is pretty much it for this video, but I do hope you guys have enjoyed it. You guys can of course go ahead and check out episode 1 and 2 if you want to do so. There will be links in the description to both of those. But if you guys could take a few seconds out of your day to click the like button, it would help me out a lot and it's also greatly appreciated. Also be sure to leave a comment on this video and let me know which car out of these 5 is your favourite, and if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel already, I'd recommend that you do, because I upload all the latest and the greatest Grand Theft Auto 5 content. So once again, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time.